Alright guys, welcome back. We are watching Hanamonogatari Episode 3, Suruga Devil Part 3. Last time we talked with Kaiki for like the entire episode. It was like awesome, honestly. That's like peak Monogatari, is two characters sitting down and talking for 15 minutes. That's what we want. If that was every episode, man, it would be peak. Just go through like every possible pairing of characters one by one and have them sit down and talk to each other for an entire episode. Oh, it'd be amazing. But other than that, we also got all this stuff going on with Numachi, her collecting the devil pieces, it seems like, right? I don't know what that's all about, but Humber is looking for Numachi, so I don't know. I guess we'll see. We got a whole lot more to go, that's for sure. So I don't know. We're watching episode 3 of Hanamonogatari. You can line you and copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. Did not catch any of that. Hi, Numachi. Long time since I went to school, something, something. Why is Nuachi here? We were the one looking for you, honestly. I'm surprised you just showed up. All right. I guess she doesn't do anything all day, so she got time. But yeah, she figured it out, huh? All right. Oh. Oh. Okay. When do you think? Okay, well, I guess, sure. Hmm. Does Kanbaru want it back? You know? Oh, you just, of course, right? Hmm. It wasn't, yeah, you can't really call it a fraud or a con, right? I don't know. Only offers up half of its information. That is an interesting rule, huh? Is that right? Oh, my mouse is on screen, sorry. The good intentioned third party, huh? Man, all of these text flashes and I'm not catching them, unfortunately. Well, the devil certainly is part of misery, isn't it? For you. Hmm. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Sounds nice. Sounds nice. Why? Like I don't know. Okay. Interesting. Huh. So Kaiki knew that it was Numachi the whole time, and knew that. Well, I don't know. It's hard to know if we should even take Numachi's word for it either, because like even that is just her interpretation of what she thinks Kaiki is like thinking and doing, and it's always so unclear what Kaiki is doing, right? So I mean, who knows, honestly? Like, I don't want to say he was being disingenuous about his like warning to Combrew about the monkey arm, right? Like he could genuinely think that Combrew was better off without it, right? I don't know. I don't know. Because like I don't want to think he was lying to her out of any kind of malice. That's for sure. Hmm. So all of the shots in the opening with Conburu and Numachi, those like aren't like real, right? Like they never actually had any kind of relationship like that, right? They were just the basketball rivals. I mean, it doesn't seem like Conburu barely knows anything about her, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Because, like, obviously, because around that age is when Conburu was infatuated by Senjougahara already, right? I don't think she had Numachi. Basketball. Ooh. Can you do that? Wow, okay. You really don't need that crutch, huh? Hmm. Oh yeah, no, she's fine, I guess. I mean, the idea if she's collecting the devil parts, then it makes you wonder if her leg is actually, you know. Ooh. And of course, her arm now as well, right? Obviously. The defense. That's what they said she was good at. Man, this must have. It's good animation. It looks good, right? The basketball. I don't know. Hmm. I'm sure there's stuff you can take from this. Their dynamics when they're playing basketball, right? With how basketball itself is like an analogy for I don't know life, right? An hour later, man. Hmm. Should have dunked. You think? Huh. Against the rules. Sure. But if you can entertain them by winning, oh wow, then all the better, right? Taller than her. Hmm. Oh. Well, I guess. Oh, okay. Well, sure. Not really though, right? It's about like your true subconscious wish, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it would work like that exactly. Yeah, yeah, you guys had quite the connection over that. Hmm. Are you still hiding things? Yeah. We gotta, if we're gonna be open, we gotta both be open here. Sure. Hmm. Okay, sure. Told her everything about the monkey's paw. Yeah. It's, hmm. It's interesting she still, like, tells the story that way? Despite what Oshino says, or what Oshino said about the truth behind it? Everyone can tell, Conbro. Come on. Oh, God. Okay. I. All right. Okay. All right. Are you going to, though? Uh huh. Mm hmm. Mm hmm. Ooh. You don't want to run. You can run, but you don't want to run. Sure. People are just headed toward misery. If you think running is like losing, you're headed towards misery. Hmm. I guess you put off losing, right? What you're running away from is losing. I well, maybe. Oh, come on. Yeah. Disappointed. Oh, yeah, I don't want to ruin it with kissing. What would happen then? You'd become a delinquent. Man, huh? What is that about? About not being able to dunk, huh? Seems like that leg. Ooh. Hmm. Taking your misery for myself. Is that right, though? Is that true? I don't know. Well, she is saying this after Cumbru did tell her everything about the story, right? Hmm. Yeah, that's right. So she does want it back. Huh. Would it be like running away to not want the arm back? Never yours, even for an instant. Hmm. Is that right? Okay. Sure. Wasn't that supposed to be representative of it taking her soul or whatever, right? Oh, okay. Sure. Sounds good. Huh. It's like this does feel like some kind of like cheap cop out, like an escape from her problems, the idea that she can fix all of this by just giving up the arm. Hmm. And that's why Cumbru doesn't like it, right? Oh yeah, sure. Just like you run away from losing to your problems, right? Sure. I guess. Huh. You know, hmm, hmm. All this discussion about running away, it's just scary in a sense. Ooh, what's under there? The end of their athletic life. The end of their athletic life. Okay, yeah. Oh God. Man, yeah. Hmm. It's just making me think, this whole talk about running away now. It's making me think, what's the ultimate form of running away? And her saying it was the end of her athletic life, the way they both stopped playing basketball. I don't know. I don't know. Sure. Sounds good. So her arm was injured, but now she has the demon leg to replace it. Okay. In the opposite way. Compared my happy self to my miserable self. Hmm. Okay. Played soccer. Okay. That's yeah, sadly, I guess that kind of is true. Hmm. Sure, but if everyone had talents, then essentially no one does, right? I mean, your talent is decided based off your comparison to other people, right? Hmm. Her defense is the way it is now. But what is defense? You know what I mean? Like what does that represent? The idea of being good at defense. Huh. Okay, sure. Or almost you could say it's like her thoughts about her talent with her legs. It's like she wanted to. Okay, yeah. Sure. Okay. Reminds me again of the idea of like running away in a sense there, right? Hmm. I don't know about that. I don't know if there's some divine punishment. Yeah. Destroyed my leg. Hmm. Oh, yeah, just everything ended for you, right? Hmm. And then when you lost to that difficulty level, oh, sure, okay. Hmm. Hmm. And yet that's too late, right? It's like huh. It's almost like she could think that they were doing the same thing she does now, you know? Wallowing in her misery, right? Yeah, like what's the good in it, you know? Doesn't do anything to help my problem, right? The same way she says she doesn't do anything to help others. Never again? That just can't be right. Right? Just a fracture when you're in middle school means your leg will be fucked up forever? Huh. To run away. Okay, inspired by a certain event. Hmm. Butterflies. Yeah. Okay, sure. Sounds like the first job for Akuma-sama, huh? Yeah. Clearly more miserable and worse off than her. Are you sure you really think that I don't know. I don't was that really her motivation? Life was practically over. Your life was not over. It's like, come on. I guess I understand thinking of it like that though. Hmm. Okay. But why? Okay, but it's just so weird that she frames it all in this like really negative way, as if it's like I don't know, right? Like her saying, "Oh, the misery of others tastes like honey." Sure, it sounds like such a bad thing to say, but think about the reality of that situation, right? It's just two people who are struggling with something talking to each other about their problems, right? Is that really that bad of a thing? Like, hmm. Okay, well, that is a weird way to frame it, I suppose. Yeah, yeah. What an awful person I was, huh? Hmm. But I don't know, is she right about this, about like her own feelings even, you know? Like, oh God. I mean in the sense of like, she's framing it in such a negative way, and I just don't know if I hmm. Huh. What a thing to say. Okay. That her problems were fixed. Oh, right, because time fixes your problems, right? That's what she says, of course. Huh. Hmm. Man, she really is just an incredibly cynical person, huh? And yet her problems haven't gone away. Ah, but not all problems work like that, right? And it's never the time itself that solves it, right? I just disagree. I just don't think that's how it is at all. Hmm. Time or from her perspective, I solved them. I'm trying to think of any problem that time actually does solve, you know? God, there's so many text flashes. I guess it's interesting. Hmm. She views this in such a negative way, I think similarly to the way Kombaru views herself, maybe. Broke along my left leg. Place to die as an athlete. Oh yeah. Hmm. Oh, of the collector, the misery collector. Yeah. Collecting more than just misery though, right? Oh. Okay. Your motive was a fine one, huh? A hobby. Yes, true. Right. Yes. Hmm. Okay, sure. Sounds good. Halftime. The choice. She doesn't like making choices. Either hear the rest or don't. Okay, right. Always has to give the opportunity to run away, right? From hearing it. Hmm. Ooh. She. Hmm. She certainly could do those things, couldn't she? Oh. I guess. Okay. Sure. She wants to push the decision onto her. Ooh. Chain reaction. One tale of misery that won't make you feel better. God, that's a good line. Too late for that now. Oh, that's the end? Oh, wow, it is the end. Okay. That's a fast episode. Huh. Do you have nap credits again, I wonder? We don't. Okay. Man, that was dense. There was a lot of stuff there. Numachi is gonna be rough to figure out. Man, I don't know. God. Hmm. I'm still I the parallels between Kombu and Numachi are like undeniable, right? So I can't help but think about everything she says through like the framework of Kanbaru and her character, you know. Um, but I don't know, man. Really gonna have to think about it, I guess. Maybe we'll figure it all out, I guess. I mean, I guess I'm still like in the line of thinking that in some way, Numachi is like, um, well, I don't know. I was gonna say like a potential like version of Kombu almost, right? Like almost what Kombu herself either thinks of herself or what she thinks she like could have ended up being, essentially, right? Huh. Okay. Okay, let's talk about the episode. We got a lot of text flashes we're gonna need to try and catch. So let's see here. Um There's one right at the beginning here. If I could get to it. Back when I went to school, I thought it was way too impolite to address your homeroom teacher without honorifics. Okay. Couldn't tell you anything about that. So no matter how useless and unmotivated they seemed as teachers, I addressed them politely. I thought that made me a polite, well-mannered kid. I had the right manners, but I wasn't right. Oh, what? No, there's one before that. But now that I think back, I wonder if maybe the ones who called the teachers by their first name had the right idea. I had the right manners, but I wasn't right. And this seems like this is like in Numachi's head, right? Like that's kind of the idea here. Because she doesn't go to school, and it says, yeah, it's been a long time since I went to school. I had the right manners, but I wasn't right. It's been a long time since I went to school, so I found myself thinking those things. Huh. Okay. Interesting. It's interesting that it's like we got Numachi's thoughts there for a second. I don't know what any of that means. I literally don't know what to tell you. The idea of her thinking about whether or not she's being polite. I, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can kind of say that relates in some sense to kind of the whole thing we're doing here with our like effect on other people through our actions and thoughts. On that in that same vein, let's like talk about Numachi in general, right? I don't know what to make of her at all yet. I really don't know. She is clearly a foil to Kombaru in some way, right? She absolutely is. For a long time I've been thinking like she's almost like what Kombaru like thinks of herself or thinks what she could be, maybe, right? Because Kombaru's motivation for her like problem, where she doesn't trust herself and she like worries about the impact that her choices are going to have on other people, her actions are going to have on other people, right? And kind of like it makes sense why she thinks like that after what has happened with the monkey arm, right? Um, so her motivation for that is, she's worried about hurting others. So here's Numachi, who takes so much like happiness, so much pleasure in what she claims to be the suffering of other people, right? Like she says she enjoys other people's misery so much. And that's like, what keeps her going, right? So it's like you can almost view it as like the opposite of Kombo in that sense. But the important thing here is, of course, is that Numachi isn't the one causing their misery in the first place, right? They already have the misery. Numachi just says that she enjoys it. She enjoys extracting it from them, right? So, man, I don't know. I mean, in that sense, it's like it feels like disconnected in that sense from Komburu's whole thing, right? I mean, it clearly isn't. It's clearly in the same vein. Um, God, I just don't know what to make of it, man. It's rough. It's hard. I don't know. Oh God, there's another text flash, huh? Ruminating on it. Oh, there's another one in there, isn't there? No? Maybe not. Okay. Hmm. Was there one there? I don't think so. No, there isn't. Okay. So Kumburu's at her school. I don't know. I mean, not Kumburu's at her school. Numachi's at Kumburu's school, but she's at Nawetsu. I don't know why. She just like showed up here, I guess, to come talk to Kumburu, even though like Kumburu was the one looking for her. But now she's here. Sure, whatever. Kumburu figured out she's the one who took her arm. Um, the stuff about Kumburu wanting her arm back is very interesting. We will talk about it when we get to that later. But of course, like I think here's something important to think about, right? Numachi, she says that she doesn't do anything for the people she talks to, and when she collects their misery, their problems just magically fix themselves with time, and she doesn't actually do anything, even though she says that she will, right? Um, and I think that's interesting because I think she's just kind of wrong in that sense, and like I think the fact that she took that she's collecting the devil pieces, right? That she took Kumburu's arm is kind of like proof of that in a sense, right? Like she actually did do something for Kumburu, right? She took away her arm. And Kumburu's arm is kind of like always this. It's not literally the like negative impacts of Kumburu's actions, right? Like the arm itself is just representative of that, right? It's like the weight always bearing down on Kumburu, right? Like remember in the last episode, her like running and not being able to keep her balance after having lost the arm, right? Because it's like it is literally this physical weight always bearing down on her, a reminder of the actions that she did in the past that she regrets, right? And Numachi took that from her. That's what she took from her, right? And I think that really goes along with like what she's doing in general as the misery collector, which is people come up and they tell her about their problems. And I think it is literally, it's just that literal opening up with another person that ends up helping them with their problem, right? Like with Kombaru, how since she's told Numachi about her problems now, since she like opened up in that sense, her misery was collected, and the devil arm's gone now. It's like literally, it's like she opened up about her problem. And I think doing that is more than just like running away from your problem is, right? Like, I think that is kind of the first step to addressing any problem at all. Or, I mean, it doesn't even have to be the first step. It can just be like all you do. And I think that that does something to help your problem, right? Like opening up to another person and talking about it, you know? And it's interesting in that sense that Numachi has such a negative view of that. That she thinks other people who talk to her when she was in the hospital are just like wallowing in her misery the same way she views her own actions as that. Here, we'll talk about it when we get there. We'll talk about it when we get there. So Kaiki knew it was Numachi who was the collector, and he knew all of this. He only offers up half of his information. That's supposedly his rule. I don't think I really understood that principle. Me neither. He always wants to be the good-intentioned third party. Is that right? He doesn't want to be the one who decides the story. He doesn't even want a supporting role. He wants to pull the strings from behind the scenes. Interesting. That is a very interesting thing to say. Huh. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. The idea that he only gives up half of his information. Because I don't want to say that he was like in any way lying to Kombaru in the last episode. That doesn't sound right to me at all. I don't think he was like. To me, it seems like he was being like honest entirely about like his feelings, or at least like. No, I guess he wasn't even being honest about his feelings. But I believe him when he, it's clear that he cares about Kombaru, right? Like I don't think he was conning her, or it was a fraud in any sense or anything like that, right? Like. But I don't know, the idea, it is true, I guess, that he already knew that the devil arm was gone and it was Numachi who did it. But I mean, we can give him the benefit of the doubt, though. Like, I mean, I would agree with him if some part of his motivation is he thinks Kombaru is better off without the arm, and that she should, I don't know, like, not so much his policy as his curse. Huh. I don't know, wait. Let me read these, wait. But he didn't tell me. I don't understand why. Not so much his policy as his curse. As in, like, the whole half information thing, it's not like a policy, but it's like a curse, right? Like, it's like, probably a curse in the sense of, it's something he feels like he has to do for some reason. Just like, I don't know. Kaiki is obviously kind of a very closed off, reserved person in that sense. So the idea of him never wanting to give all of his information to someone, that kind of makes sense, right? Now, I guess you could frame that as a curse. I don't know if there's much more you can say about it than that, right? And even then, like Kaiki not wanting to share information with other people, even that feels like it's kind of connected to Numachi's whole thing, right? We're collecting information from others and like enjoying their misery, right? I feel like you could say that's even related to Kaiki's thing, you know? And we talk after school in the basketball court. Okay, I like how I said at the start of this episode that the last episode was just all one scene of two characters talking to each other, and that was like awesome. Literally, only two characters appear in this entire episode, and it is just them talking to each other. So I guess I got what I wanted, huh? Like, it is quite literally we only have two characters, right? No other characters show up for the entire thing, and it is just them talking to each other. So that's great. That's good. Man, rough. They play some basketball. They play some basketball. Um, so basketball, right? Basketball is life, right? Both of them not playing basketball anymore, not playing sports anymore. It's both of them. It has coincided with both of them standing still in life, right? And not continuing their lives, right? Kombaru has been hung up on all of this stuff that happened in her past for so long. She's been hung up on Senju Kahara. She has been afraid to like move forward in life and do anything because of her own fear about like herself and her desires, right? Um, Same with Numachi, right? Numachi has stopped doing everything. Like she literally said that she does nothing basically ever since she stopped playing basketball, right? basketball is just like life, right? Both of these characters have stopped living, you know? Um, that's obviously more of what makes it clear that in some way Numachi is a foil to Kanbaru with her what she's doing with this whole misery collection stuff, you know? And I'm sure there has to be some meaning you can take from the way both of them play basketball, right? The way Kanbaru is the Godspeed angel or whatever, who is a, who's an offensive player and Numachi is a defensive player, right? Um, I just don't know. Maybe I'll have more to say about that later. Hmm. Well, I already said something about that before, right? About the whole idea of Kanbaru being an offensive player and that relating to her and like the whole devil thing, right? Like her kind of rushing forward and trying to get what she wanted with the devil in that sense, you know? Hmm. An hour later, they play basketball for an hour. Goddamn. Yeah, man, if you play like a sport like that with someone one on one for that long of a time, you're gonna feel like you know that person like a family member afterwards. Goddamn. Conbro says she doesn't like dunks. In my mind, they're against the rules. That's freestyle basketball. It isn't to win the match so much as it is to entertain the audience. These lines mean so much. I'm telling you, these lines mean so much. It isn't to win the match so much as it is to entertain the audience. What does that line make you think of, right? Like, Kombaru and the fact that she has stopped playing basketball, stopped living her life, stopped making decisions, is like based off of her fear about what she's going to do to the audience, right? Like other people in her life, right? So that it's not to win the match so much as it is to entertain the audience. Like that line kind of makes sense to me, like in that sense, right? I guess I don't know what she means by win the match. Well, I guess like winning the match could be chasing her own desires, right? Doing what she wants to do, and that's what she's afraid of doing because of the effect it's going to have on the audience, the other people around her, right? And that's kind of like for a good reason. Like I understand. It's weird because I understand what she is like her thought process so much on this, right? Like, and again, it's like it's so hard to say what I think because I don't want to blame it on the devil, but I think like man, at this it's not fair to say that Conbrew is just like this, right? And her chasing her desires is going to hurt people, right? It's because of the devil that this happened, you know? Like sure they were her desires, but oh god, I don't know. I don't know, right? Like cuz if we say it's purely the devil's fault that her desires hurt other people, that removes like the relatable personable aspect from it, right? Like I we can't just blame it on the oddity itself, right? Oddities are never the cause of an issue, right? They're representative of an issue in the first place. Um, but if we say it's entirely her, and we say it really was her desires that hurt other people, um, what are we saying the solution is at that point, right? That she should get over it and she should be fine with hurting other people? That doesn't really make sense. That she should just try to not hurt people when she chases her desires. Like I guess that's kind of like a weird answer there. That feels like a like not an answer at all, you know? Hmm. I don't know. I mean, I guess like an important thing you can take from it, I guess, is that she shouldn't decide that she's always going to hurt people forever just because that's happened to her in the past, right? That just because she hurt people before, that means that's always going to happen. That means she should stop playing basketball, right? Like, I guess it doesn't mean that, and that much is true, but I don't know. I guess I don't know what the message would be otherwise, right? Like that it's not her fault for having these desires, and maybe the idea is that she needs to recognize when a desire that she has is something that she can reliably pursue, right? Like, I don't think it's a hot take to say that she should probably give up on Senjugahara, right? I think the Senjugahara ship has sailed at this point, you know? She needs to give up on that, you know? And, like, yes, if the only thing she can think of in order to fulfill that desire at this point is hurting other people, which is, like, what she tried to do in Suruga Monkey, right? Was kill Araragi to get him out of the way so she could, you know? Um, then yeah, maybe that is the idea that she does need to give up on some of her desires if the only possible path to pursue them is resulting in hurting other people, right? I don't know. Hmm. And her saying that dunks are against the rules, God, that means something. But I don't know what. But I'm telling you, it means something. It has to. When the author wrote that down, he was giggling, thinking about something. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about basketball to tell you what I think a dunk could mean in this context, right? To a short girl like me, it's a fine technique I'm very jealous of. What? Like is a dunk like the ability to achieve your desires in that sense? Like the oh god, I don't know. I don't know, right? To a short girl like me, it's a fine technique I'm very jealous of, right? Like if basketball is life, a dunk has to be something related to what in life, right? Pursuing your goal, getting what you desire, right? Um, so what would a dunk be? Would it be like what Kombu tried to do with the devil? Would that be her attempting a dunk, trying to do whatever it takes to achieve her goal? You know, maybe. And Numachi saying to a short girl like me, it's a fine technique I'm very jealous of. It's like she's jealous of Kombu's approach in that sense. Maybe, but what does she mean by saying that she's short? Right? That she was unable to pursue something in her life, maybe. God, I we're really getting into the weeds now, right? Like it's so unclear, that if but I know that's on the right track in some sense about like what this is meant to mean. I just don't know what. It's so hard for me to connect the dots. Not that tall myself. Oh God, and like her saying she's not that tall, like oh God, that really means something, right? Hmm. I know if I sat down and really thought about it, I could figure something out, right? Maybe I was on the right track there. Maybe like everything I said is just correct, but like I don't know. Like, hmm. Because in that sense, it's like if going for a dunk in that sense is somehow like um pursuing your desires or what you want through any means possible, it makes sense why Kambru would not like them, right? Because she didn't like the outcome of her actions, right? When she tried to go for a dunk with like the Araragi situation and the Senjugahara situation, right? Um, and but and her saying that she's not that tall herself kind of makes sense in that case because she didn't actually get what she wanted in the end, right? She failed. But then the only thing that's tripping me up is Numachi saying she's jealous of that, right? That she would be jealous of that like approach, of that idea, of going for a dunk like that. Like what in Numachi's life, what is a desire that Numachi had that she failed to pursue, that she failed to like go through with, right? Is it because of Numachi's like going for a dunk is different than running, right? Like certainly. So is it because of Numachi's like predisposition to running away from her problems? I don't want to call it a predisposition. It's something that she's developed over time, right? But her inclination to just run away from her problems, right? Maybe. But in that sense, you would think her saying that she's jealous of it, that goes against her, like, her thought process, right? Because she thinks that she's, like, right to be running away from her problems. She thinks that's, like, a good thing to do, you know? Hmm. No, I think I'm happy with that for the most part. I think that makes sense. If I could make a wish to the devil, would I ask him to make me taller? If I did that, I might end up killing all the people taller than myself. And that's interesting, right? Because I think that is a misunderstanding still of the devil, right? Because the devil, it just grants what like your subconscious wish is, right? Not what you want to tell other people your wish is, right? Like it's not like when Kambaru like that's almost like a monkey's paw understanding of what the wish is, right? Like that's the kind of the misunderstanding of it that Kambru had originally. Because no, if you wished the devil to make you taller, I guess I don't know what it would do, but it would only make you kill people who were taller than you if that is what you desired in the back of your mind, right? Like if you wanted to be taller because you were jealous of people who were taller than you, then it would make you kill other people, right? But if you wanted to be taller, I don't know, just so you could be better at basketball and it's not because of like other people, then I guess I don't know what the devil would do. But I don't know. I think that's like an interesting, I don't know. It's interesting. Hmm. All right. So Kambru tells her everything. Everything that happened with the monkey's paw, right? You can't call it a very interesting story. Just this and that about my left arm. Monkey's paw. I told my story while admitting that Araragi is a vampire. Okay. Sure. I guess that's probably a good idea. I don't know. Hmm. You wanted to get faster. You wanted things to be like they were with the senpai you loved, huh? So it's interesting that Kambaru still tells the story this way, right? Even though I think she has an understanding that that's not really true, right? That it's not just that she wanted to get faster. No, the deep subconscious wish there was that she wanted to beat up those kids, right? That she wanted them to get hurt, you know? And it's not that she just wanted things to be like they were. No, she wanted Araragi out of the picture, right? And again, I'm not saying that it was like some malicious wish on Kamburu's case. Again, it's like in my mind, it's like this is the subconscious thing that I think almost everyone like feels on some level, right? And those are the thoughts and feelings that Kamburu's scared of, right? So I mean, it makes sense that, of course, even now she still doesn't tell people the story that way. That's what she really wanted, right? But anyway, I knew you liked girls more than boys. We're just immediately doing this. Like, great, awesome, man. Numachi really trolls Kanburu here, huh? I can run away anytime I want. Hmm. No, it is kind of interesting though, the fact that she doesn't run away. The fact that well, I don't know. Would you say the fact that she doesn't run away is huh? Is it true that that means that she really would want Numachi to kiss her? Or is it actually like her inability to run away, you know? I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. Most things can be solved by running, but many people really think that running means losing, right? So Numachi saying this is interesting because I guess I understand the distinction here. Like running away from your problems is different than losing because by running, what you're doing is just avoiding the loss, right? Like, and in that sense, that's what Kamburu is doing, like with Shinjo Gahara, right? The fact that she has been running away from the Shinjo Gahara situation for so long and hasn't been addressing it directly, she has been escaping like the loss of Shinjo Gahara, right? Like, she hasn't given up on Shinjo Gahara yet, right? So she hasn't had to process and deal with the fact that she lost that. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, like in that sense, that makes sense, right? Like you can call what Conburu's behavior has been like running away, right? Like just sitting around and doing nothing, basically. Like that's pretty much running away from the problem, right? Like she's not addressing it in any way, so she's just postponing losing, right? If you ask me, those people are just headed towards misery. Heading toward misery. Because why are they heading towards misery? Because they're dealing with their loss, because they're accepting the loss in some sense. I guess, and I guess it makes sense that Numachi would have that perspective because she also runs away from her problems, right? Like she hasn't dealt with the problems that have happened ever since she, injured her leg, right? She stopped doing everything, right? Okay. Huh. And you never find misery by running. You never lose by running, you never find misery by running. If you can't escape, you give up. Hmm. You never find misery by running. Is that true, though, right? It seems like to me like Kumber has found misery by running, right? Like, I would describe her state, her horribly sad, lonely state, like in the first episode, untaping her hand from the wall as pretty miserable, right? I guess. Man, hmm. Someone might come. Hmm. And man, she can dunk now with the power of the devil, huh? I I feel like that connects it even more, right? Dunks to like the devil, right? Huh. Hmm. And yeah, and it is true now, right? Now she has taken Kumru's misery, right? Through Kumru telling her about her problem, Um, which is interesting. Because how many people has Kumru ever told about this story, right? Like no one, right? Like Aragi, Oshino, that's like it, So this really is the first step if she's going to deal with this problem that she has and stop running away, is telling someone about it. Forget all about the devil's left hand and have a happy, cheerful life. God. And Kumru wants to hold on to the arm because the arm is a sign of the sin she's committed, which I think makes sense, right? Like, it makes sense that, and I think it would be a good thing for her to do to, like, process the sins that she's committed and like deal with them more so than just give up the arm to another person and never deal with it, right? Like I guess it just depends like in what form that would take, you know? Like what does it mean for her to still have the arm, right? But no, but maybe not, right? Like is her trying to hold on to the arm for so long and saying it's the sign of the sin she's committed, is that her being unfair to herself and saying that like she'll never be able to ever overcome those things, you know? Because it's not like she's been, because her method of dealing with the arm has been to do nothing, right? Like she hasn't been trying to like deal with it, you know? So is that just what she wants to return to? Ah, God, I don't know. And it's interesting here how it's like Numachi's doing the same thing, where it's like she's separating the devil's actions from Komburu's actions in that sense, right? Um, like saying that the arm was never hers. Which is interesting. I don't really know, because I haven't decided still how much I want to say it's the devil's fault, in quotes, and how much it's Komburu's fault, right? Um, because like oddities like aren't real, right? You know what I mean? Like they're always, it's the oddity is never at fault, right? So ah, God, I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. We got more text flashes. What? That's just absurd. There was a contract with the devil, and they're not so easily swayed, and there's no way they just let me get my body back. More fundamentally, what exactly is meant by collecting the parts of the devil? That is an interesting, like, point of view she has on it, that there's no way they'd let her get her body back, right? Like, this shows that, like, in her mind, she thinks there's no way she would ever be able to, like, overcome what the devil represents, basically, right? Like, that there's no way she would ever get her body back. Like, think about what that means, you know? Like, she thinks that she would, what, be tying her arm to the wall, taping her arm to the wall forever, you know? I don't know, man. Hmm. Promises are neither for keeping nor breaking, they're for getting out of. I mean, yeah, it's different than breaking a promise. It's just like running away from your problem to avoid losing, right? You put off keeping it, huh? People can run from fate itself. Man. Hmm. That follows a basketball player meeting the end of their athletic life. So I think we're really dancing around a topic here that I think it has to end up being relevant. And if it's not relevant, I guess it's just subtextually relevant. I don't know if it's actually going to come up or not, but if basketball is life in general, right? Like basketball equals life for Kombaru. You know, the same way she stopped playing basketball, she stopped living her life. What does it mean to meet the end of your athletic life, right? It means to be dead, right? What is the ultimate form of running away? What do they say it is, right? Suicide, right? Um, so I don't know if that is going to be like directly brought up in any way, but I can't help but think about that, right? Because that is the ultimate form of running away, right? Running away from your problems, avoiding losing, avoiding wanting to deal with the consequences of something is suicide, right? Um, so I mean, like that's a pretty dark way to look at it. The idea that both of these characters, Numachi and Kombaru, have like effectively killed themselves in like a sense, you know, the way that they stopped playing basketball, right? Um, but I don't know. I just can't help but think about that. I'm trying to think like and like the way that Numachi goes on and on about how like her life after her her leg was injured has no purpose and how she stopped doing everything now and like you know she doesn't play basketball anymore, she doesn't go to school, she doesn't do anything, you know. And like the outlook she had on the injury too is like she kept saying like, oh, I could never play sports again, my leg was worthless forever, you know. Which I'm sure like wasn't true. It seems like to me that she was like catastrophizing about it and decided, you know, that her life was over. It just reminds me so much about like, yeah, it just makes me think about suicide. It really does. So, man, I don't know. And it's weird because I've never really thought about that with Kombu before, right? But it kind of makes sense, you know, having stopped playing basketball, right? I don't know. I don't know. So, oh man, we got a whole long story here, right? Gotta share Numachi's whole outlook on life, right? Always been interested in others' misery, but in the opposite way I am now. At the time, I compared my happy life, my happy self to my miserable self. So after she broke her leg, she's comparing herself being happy to herself now when she's so miserable, right? It's I compared them and tilted my head. Why do I have this amazing talent and others don't? And I don't know, this whole thing about talent is interesting. I don't know what to think about this, right? Um, she's really caught up on the idea of having talent and like being different from others, I suppose, right? The fact that she is able to do things that others can't, I guess. I don't really know how to relate that to like the broader subject matter here. Hmm. Skill with my legs. She played soccer. She went too far, and it's like kind of vaguely related to like Combrew's whole thing, right? Like she did really well in soccer. She ended up regretting that because of the environment she was in, I suppose, right? Like people started hating her because of it, right? Kind of the same reason, like Combrew. It's not because of people hating her; it's because of her worried about her hurting other people through actions. But hmm, and I just want to point this out, even though I don't know what to say about it. All this stuff about talent, right? There are people with talent in the world and those without. Reminds you of what Gantoe, my bad, was saying in episode 1 at the beginning, right? The whole thing about how Kambaru is like different, right? I mean, she kind of said it in like a mean way. She said it's not that Kambaru's special, but life is going to be a pain in the ass for her and all of this stuff, you know? Hmm. I never did anything crazy and just focused on defense, right? So obviously already it's like her deciding to not do anything crazy. It's just like with Combrew kind of. It's like she regretted the way that she carried herself before, right? She regretted being so good at soccer because it made other people hate her, right, for being too good. So she just focused on defense in basketball. It's like she tried to not stand out. She tried to not show off as being like talented in that sense. Hmm. Those who have talent must, above all else, fear the long-standing societal tradition of hammering in the nail that sticks out. Absolutely. Hmm. She graduated from soccer. She chose basketball. Wanted to try sport for her hands. Wanted to up the difficulty. Sure. More text flashes. Goddamn. Maybe you'd have joined the handball club if there'd been one in middle school. I guess. Hmm. I don't know what to make of the whole difficulty modes thing. I don't know. I don't know. The idea of raising the difficulty. I mean, obviously, it has to relate to a whole thing about talent, right? Hmm. Do you think the reason I broke my left leg was as punishment for taking up basketball for a reason like that? It was a just punishment from heaven. Interesting. She doesn't seem to doubt herself, but I understand her. Huh. The idea of it being a just punishment from heaven. And that's interesting because I think Kambaru views her situation with the monkey's arm, with the devil arm, as like a just punishment from heaven, right? She thinks it's like what she deserves, what she has to go through. Um, huh. Those who totally rely on their talent often end like this. After I was hospitalized for my stress fracture, I was like an empty shell. And right, this is what I mean with like the whole suicide thing, right? The whole running away from your problems. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm human too. I get down and depressed too. Hmm. After I lost it, I realized I loved basketball. She realized the talent she'd been squandering was fragile and irreplaceable. She realized how much emphasis she placed on it for herself. Hmm. So this is when she starts her misery thing, right? She thinks other people. She's so cynical. She has such a negative view of all of this, right? She thinks other people are just like happy that she's miserable because they're like taking pleasure from it, knowing that she's more miserable than them. Which I just think she's just like wrong. She just has this crazy cynical way of viewing these things. Um, Oh man, which I wonder if like her cynicism just started back when she played soccer in elementary school and like the reaction she saw from other people when she was like too good, you know? Um, maybe, right? It's just so cynical to view things in this way, you know? And it makes me think, like, is Kombaru being cynical in that same sense, right? Like, Kombaru's fear of hurting other people, is it cynical in the sense of like she is also not believing in others like sharing her problems, right? Like, it's interesting because, yes, Kambru did hurt people, and it was bad when she did that, right? But if her fear of hurting other people has led to the point where she's afraid of other people, like, being affected by her problems at all, then that's, like, dumb and, like, an unfair way to view the world and, like, your relationships, right? Like, it makes me think of like what Numachi's doing here, right? Like she thinks to other people her problems aren't something that other people care about at all. They're just something that they get pleasure from, I guess, right? And with Kambru, she thinks that her problems and her desires are something that just end up hurting other people, and there's no way other people would ever like accept that or like, you know, deal with that deal with that if she ends up getting what she wants in some sense, you know? Like, I guess the extreme case of that was like Araragi and Bake when he was gonna let Kambru kill him, right? Like that's obviously going too far, but I don't know, man. The fact that my left leg would never be able to handle sports again hadn't changed. And, like, that's interesting because that's just, like, wrong, right? Like, there's no way her leg was irreparably damaged. It was never going to be okay again, right? But it's just like she's catastrophizing and just decided she can never do it again, right? Again, it's just like Kambru and her, like, never making a decision again because of what happened in the past, right? I guess in this case, it's like Numachi is scared of her own talent, I guess, right? Um, hmm. My mother blamed herself, so I didn't have to pressure them to run away. To run away, running away. Yeah, I guess it just was too miserable to stay in the same place. Hmm. So one of her teammates showed up and told her about her problem. And I mean, I guess she already, like, she formed this crazy, cynical mindset. Like, the contents were pretty typical of a middle school. Oh, whoops. Come on. Of a middle school student's problems. Some blah blah about the boys she liked and her classmates in school. Nothing you can resolve in any way. Worst thing to seek advice for. But that wasn't the point. She didn't come to the wrong person. From her point of view, she came to the perfect person. She wanted to talk to someone clearly more miserable and worse off than her. And I don't know how seriously to take this. I don't know if Numachi's just crazy cynicism. It's just she just views it in this way. I kind of think so, right? I think she just like I don't know. She just wants to talk to someone about her problems. Someone who is also experiencing something bad. So it's like relatable, you know? Like I don't know. I don't know. It's just such a negative way to view it, right? Like hmm. And in that sense, it's like for Kanbaru, would Kambru worry about herself reaching the same level of cynicism, right? The same level of like disregarding other people's like motivations for involving themselves in your problems or wanting to talk to you about their problems, right? Like maybe this is Kambru's fear, right? That eventually she could reach the same level of disregard and like not care about other people and like the impacts that her actions could have on others. Like I guess, right? Hmm. She felt much better. And Numachi feels bad about this, right? Well, no, I guess Numachi doesn't feel bad about this. She's already so far gone by this point, that she doesn't feel bad about it. She enjoys the misery either way, right? But the fact that Numachi frames all of it in such a like negative light, we got all this crazy imagery with it, right? And she certainly treats it as if what she's doing is like negative, right? She acts like it's a very foreboding, crazy thing to do, right? To enjoy the misery, right? Um, hmm. Even though I just disagree with her, I guess. Like I just think she's just like wrong about what the situation was, you know? Like I don't know. Huh. More text flashes. I'm sure there's a bunch I've missed. Like, we licked each other's wounds and weighed our respective unhappiness. Hmm. It's the early days of Sir Devil. Yeah, I realized what an awful person I was. So it's like she has like reached the same conclusion that I think Kambru has, which is that she must be an awful person. But for very different reasons, and it's so hard for me to like connect what is even related between them, right? I don't know. Man, I did not listen to her stories until the end of time. That only one. That said, I did not listen to her stories to the end of time. Okay. When I sent her off that day, I said, I understand all your problems. That wasn't a lie. And then I said this, I'll fix them for you so you don't have to worry about a thing. Huh. And this is with like her whole time thing, right? But the interesting thing about her whole time thing, right, that her problems were just resolved with time, is that I think that's just never true. No problem is ever resolved with time, right? Something happened to resolve the problem, and it wasn't just time passing, right? Like those things happened throughout the flow of time, because that's how reality works. But that doesn't mean time itself is what solved the problem, right? Like, time hasn't solved Numachi's problems, right? Like, I don't know. She still doesn't seem very happy. She's still not doing anything in life, right? I, God, I don't know. Man. Hmm. And I was healed. She saw me as beneath her, so she was able to share her problems. And by entrusting me with her problems, she was released from them. In time, or from her perspective, I solved them. Hmm. I don't know, man. It's very interesting. It's an interesting thing to think about, right? Like, I understand what Numachi means on, like, a literal level. Like, I guess I get it, you know? But, uh, hmm. Oh, that's such a crazy line. Maybe I had them before this, but they broke along with my left leg. Man. I found my place to die as an athlete. So yes, I thought this would be my gravestone. Yeah, no subtext there at all. Man. And I guess this is only the halfway point of her story because she still has to talk about the devil part collecting, which is even more interesting, right? I feel like this part, surely it will be easier for me to figure this part out and how it relates to Comfort, right? Surely. It must be, right? I hope so. And she offers her a choice to hear it or not, which is interesting. And of course, even this decision, which like Comfort hates making decisions, right? Even this one, she doesn't make it, right? She doesn't want it to be a decision. She gives it to Numachi. She says Numachi has to make the choice, right? She says there's no decision in the matter. Huh. And that's the end. Okay. That was a messy one. I am so unsure of so much stuff about this arc already. Like, man, and we're like halfway through. We're just over halfway through. Maybe I'll figure it all out. Maybe. This has to be the most difficult stuff to understand so far. Normally, it's like it's pretty obvious, right? Like normally, if you just like it's been so clear like what the author is doing with so much stuff. But this one, man, it's rough. This is a rough one. I don't know. I guess I have faith. We'll figure it out. We'll get it all figured out. Um, so yeah, I guess that's it. I hope I didn't forget anything, but this was a packed episode, and we gotta I don't know. We'll figure it out. I have faith. Either way, subscribe, please, if you enjoy my videos. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I will see you in the next one.